Let me take you back to the first time that you found out the news that you'd got the role. How exciting was that?
Oh, it was incredible because I have acted before. I've been acting for quite a few years, but as soon as I got the role, I couldn't believe it because I'd never been a main character or even quite a big role. And I remember my first audition, I didn't know it was Pinocchio. It just said voice actor, so I had to act out some expressions. And I got a few callbacks, and eventually I got an email from my mum saying callback for Pinocchio. And I was very confused because I'd never heard of this Pinocchio. I didn't understand at all, but eventually after time I realised that I got the part and I was over the moon.
So when you found out, how did you start preparing for the role? What was that process like?
I had to have singing practice because obviously Pinocchio is a musical. There's a lot of singing and he reaches some very high notes sometimes, so I went twice a week to a voice coach, and yeah.
So was that your first experience with singing, or did you have any previous experience?
It was my first experience singing in a movie. I've sung from a very young age. It's one of my biggest hobbies, so it came a little bit easier, but overall, yeah, it was my first time singing in a movie.
So did you go back and watch any previous Pinocchio films as preparation, or did you just go into it with a completely fresh perspective?
I went into it with a fresh perspective,
Yeah, I mean, that can be helpful in itself, can't it? So tell me about what it was like working with Guillermo del Toro, because he's obviously a director that most actors would dream of working with, so what was that collaboration like?
It was incredible, honestly. We had a bond. I found it so easy to work with him because sometimes I was reading a script and I just couldn't get my head around how to give out a line. But he would say something to me and I would just click with him and I would look at it a completely different way. So I found it was like a dream working with him, so simple.
So what specific sort of pointers did he give you about the character and what he was specifically looking for?
I have a very good story to tell about that. So obviously Pinocchio is very boisterous and loud and noisy. And so at one point, Guillermo told me to say dummy at the end of every line, and they would cut that out most of the time, but it meant if I said dummy at the end of a line, it would sort of give me emphasis and like excitement about reading the script.
Yeah. So what for you personally, what are your some of favourite aspects of the character of Pinocchio that were most fun to sort of tap into?
I love how happy he is. It sort of just makes me smile that you never really see him sad, and in the small moments that he is sad, he kind of doesn't understand sadness, because you have to remember he's not like a baby that sees the world and grows up. He was born like that by a blue fairy, and I think that the fact that he's so happy and pure, it makes the movie so enjoyable to watch.
And he's also got quite a rebellious, cheeky streak as a character, more so than perhaps other versions. And it's something that Guillermo has talked about, that he's the only character, ironically, that doesn't act like a puppet in the film. How fun was that to tap into, that sort of cheekiness and mischief?
I find that sometimes Pinocchio can relate to me, because I'm a bit cheeky myself sometimes. So I loved it. I loved the jokes he made and the silly comments sometimes. I find it very funny, and for anyone watching, I assume they would laugh.
Yeah, and just finally, how crazy has this whole experience been? Because it's your biggest production that you've been involved with yet. It's
been incredible, a once in a lifetime opportunity, because obviously I am very young. I started filming when I was 10, and I got the role when I was 9, and I'm going to be 13 when the movie comes out. So it was incredible. There was so much to do. Filmed at crazy famous recording studios, and everything in the making has just been like a joy to me.
Right, well, it's been great to talk to you, and good luck with the film. Thank you very much. Cheers. Take care.